So the majority of our clients are Americans and Canadians looking for second homes in Mexico, specifically here in the Baja. Today, I sit down with Randy and Jill, who are from Canada, and they reached out to me actually because they have this huge YouTube channel of them traveling around the world. They call Cabo home for several months in the year. They don't live anywhere specifically. They've been traveling the world for the last 18 months. Let's listen and watch what they've been doing, where they've been visiting, and some travel tips that I think you're really going to like. Take a listen. Randy and Jill, thanks for coming.
Hey, our pleasure. Our pleasure.
So
it's been a while.
Well, it's been a while because what you were telling me on the phone is it was an event that we had on the marina.
That's correct.
And so that was at La Terminal, and it was mango margaritas, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah, it was Christmas party.
It was a Christmas party. It was Christmas time of the year, yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so where are you all from?
We're from Canada, from the west coast of Canada.
Okay.
Vancouver Island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're both originally Vancouver. And Jill went, how many years ago was it that you went over to the island?
About 29 years ago to the island.
And for me, when I retired 16 years ago, a week after I retired, I was over on the island.
Mm-hmm. So you've been retired for 16 years.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
Enjoying life.
Doing...
Well, I took up golf.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes more enjoyable than other times. What a frustrating game.
You never master that game.
No, right? That's for sure. But just enjoying life. Life is short, and we want to get the most out of it.
So before you retired, what were you doing?
I was captain with the Vancouver Fire Department.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I dabbled in real estate a bit. Buying and managing properties, rental properties.
Okay. Yeah. And you were telling me off camera that you guys have been together about 5 years now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And in those 5 years, rather recently, you made a big decision. And so why don't we tell everyone about that decision?
Well, we bought this house in Canada together, and then we came back down to Cabo for the winter, and we got down here, and somebody said, "Oh, how's your pipes doing?" And because it was really, really cold.
Yeah.
And both of us kind of looked at each other going, God damn it, the pipes.
all the pipes were freezing. Up there we had a big deep freeze, and it was sawing out. Mm-hmm. And we realized then it was time to get rid of the house, time to get rid of everything. And we just wanted total freedom. Mm-hmm. And
it was after COVID, and the real estate prices in Canada had started to, they were skyrocket. They was at the top of the market. And I said, I like it, but I don't love it that much. So let's sell it.
So you sold your house.
Yeah.
And that's in the Vancouver area?
Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
And
on the island.
Yeah. It's a place called River's Edge.
Yeah. And then what do you do from there?
Well, it was funny because we were down here, this is a year prior, and I went out for dinner one evening, and Jill was still working.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I worked in the fashion industry in Canada. Yeah.
And and quite surprisingly to me, she's looking out over this beautiful water view and stuff, and feeling so stressless, and she said, "You know what? I think it's time to retire, sell a house." And so, and we were planning on moving down here. We had a house that we really liked at El Encanto de Laguna, and but we got down here. Yeah. Went home, sold the home, sold in one day.
Yeah,
and sold all our possessions,
which was
everything.
A little more of a process.
No storage locker to put your stuff?
No, nothing.
You either sold or gave away the stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
and then what did you do?
Came down here, and we started looking the real estate again to buy something.
What year are we right now?
That would be...
22?
23.
23?
Yeah.
Was that
22.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, because we've been on the road for about a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And but we just felt so free, and we decided, why tie ourselves down to home again? You know, there's lots of time for that, and let's just travel.
And you know what? You're at that age where you can enjoy the travel. You're not too old. And
Yeah. You're mobile,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and that's so important. I think a lot of people put it off and put it off. Oh, we'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. And I said to Randy, let's go do this now.
Yeah, no time better than now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's no dress rehearsal. We've all got a best before date, and we want to make the most of it before that time.
So you made that decision while you were down here in Cabo.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you go back, you sell everything.
No, it's all gone already.
Right.
And then so we actually
No,
left.
the first decision.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
talk
When
to
you
about
make the first decision. So that's in 2022.
Yeah.
And then how much time spent before you sold everything and you moved?
We came down to Mexico in September. So from March till September, that was our...
6 months.
Yeah.
All right. You got rid of everything in 6 months.
Everything in 6 months.
And then you moved to Mexico.
It's funny, yeah. Once she made the decision, and we had a pretty good idea, interest rates were going up. And I said, well, if that's the case, we cut our trip in Cabo short. We said, we got to go home now, and we got to get that house listed.
Right, before interest rates get too high, prices start coming down.
Yeah. And we got real lucky.
Okay.
It took us a couple of weeks to, get the house ready to sell. And boom, it was gone in a day. And the next month, rates started going up. And as everyone knows, they went up for a long time.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so then you sell everything, you move to Cabo.
Yeah.
You're renting a place.
Yeah, we were renting a place, and we had taken out permanent residency as well. So
How hard was that for you guys?
a really easy process.
How did you do it?
Well,
The
we had a good contact down here.
a friend of ours gave us Claudia Mendoza is her name.
Yeah.
Do you know her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's excellent.
Yeah.
A big pat on the back, Claudia.
Yeah.
And she made it so easy for us. She gave us, told us we had to go to the consulate in Vancouver.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dealt with all that. We got down here, and she said, okay, every paper looks good. She said, you guys go have some lunch or something, and I'll go to immigration. And she said, I'll give you a call when it's all ready. And we hadn't even finished our lunch, and the phone's ringing.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on down.
Yeah.
So we went down, got the fingerprints taken, and it was done.
Wow. And all being told how much time from the very beginning and how much did it cost? What do you remember?
Do you remember what it was?
Total for the, total including the costs up in Canada, it was less than 500 each.
Okay.
Yeah.
Less. I think it's gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
So not expensive.
No.
And time-wise?
Time-wise, it was so simple.
Like that.
So easy.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're permanent resident visa holders.
Yeah.
So you don't have to leave and get things renewed.
Yeah.
You can stay indefinitely. You can open bank accounts.
Yes.
Right? Have
Yeah.
you done that?
Yeah.
How was that process?
It was easy, but it's not exactly what we're looking for. And because of our travels, we want true international banking.
Yeah.
And we opened accounts at Scotia here, and unbeknownst to us,
They don't communicate
No.
outside of Mexico,
No.
right?
we were looking for something where we can move money from Canada to the U.S. to
Wherever.
Singapore to wherever,
Yeah.
Malaysia, and they were definitely not good for that. I'm sure they'd be fine just for if you're just staying here.
Right. So what bank did you ultimately choose?
We're actually have meetings lined up. We're heading back early July, and we're not sure yet. HSBC, which we opened an HSBC account here, they're pretty good, but in Canada, RBC has bought them out, and we don't know how it's going to look because
Yeah.
with all the
Yeah.
Canadian rules.
Canadian rules, and
Yeah.
you want to get less rules. That's why you're in Mexico and traveling the world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, traveling the world.
Yes.
Where have you guys gone?
Well, after we left Mexico, we drove up the Baja to Las Vegas. We met Randy's son there, and he took Randy's vehicle. And then we headed off to Egypt. We started in Egypt, in Cairo. And then we went to a little place called Siwa, which is along the Libyan border. We did,
Everyone, you got to check Siwa.
yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
Oh,
It's like landing on another planet. It is so different. It's a small town, and it's so rich in history. Alexander the Great has been there, and it's just so, it is so unique, and it's hell to get there, but once you're there, it is truly like another planet.
How many days did you spend there?
5 days.
5 days.
Yeah.
And would you go back?
Before warned though, there's no flights going in there. If you want to get there, it's either a private car or a bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we took the bus, and probably the last bus I'll ever get on.
Yeah. Or
13 hours.
okay. So Egypt, Ziwa.
Yeah, it was called Siwa. And then from there, we went to Sharm el-Sheikh because we're both scuba divers, and we did scuba diving there. And then over to Jordan. And in Jordan, we did Wadi Rum, which is another big desert safari thing. And then we went to Petra. And then from there, we headed to Jakarta, Indonesia, spent time there. Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam. And, we both go off the off-beaten track. We don't do the touristy tour stuff. We do our own. And, from doing the Hajian Loop in Vietnam, which is northern Vietnam, most northern part, and it was a 360-kilometer motorcycle bike ride around the mountains. And then we did 2 liveaboard dive boats in a place called Raja Ampat, and I have to say that's probably the most beautiful place on earth.
And that's in Vietnam?
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely spectacular. The one of the best dive destinations in the world.
Yeah.
Really? Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of people haven't.
Yeah.
And that's what we loved about it. We were watching a YouTube video before we decided the different place we were going, and it was the top 10 of Indonesia. Number 1 was Raja Ampat. We both looked at each other and we went, "Where is that?"
Yeah.
And we knew immediately we had to go there, and it definitely lived up to its reputation. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
And then from there, where do you go?
Where does it go? Oh, we went up to, we spent time in Thailand, and then Thailand to Hong Kong, and then back to Mexico.
Okay. And in that process, did you start your YouTube channel from the very beginning?
Partway through. I actually started it, I guess, in Indonesia. And I'm not the most technical person. And so I didn't know how to put a long video together. So I started off just doing shorts because that was like a reel in Instagram. And then I bought a program, and I started playing with it. Then I learned how to do a long video. And then I started posting the long videos. And at first you feel like such a dork.
Right.
Hey, you're going to subscribe to my channel? And you look and you've got like 5 people. But you know what? It has really grown.
I saw it like over 10,000 people.
Yeah, almost 11 now.
Yeah. And you are getting thousands of people contact you. From
Pretty near 250,000 on one of our last videos.
Yeah.
And so was that right off the get-go, or was it after?
About 6 months of doing long videos.
Okay.
And it's, I'm not doing it for money or anything.
Right.
It's just a way of documenting our travels. And on YouTube, there's not like a lot of people our age doing this.
Yeah.
Like, and
It's young people.
A lot of younger people,
Yeah.
especially traveling the world, especially the way we're traveling the world.
Yeah.
Because we don't do the tours, we go to out of the way.
Yeah, the
places.
off beaten path.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I try to make it informative, inspirational for people to just maybe sometimes think outside the box.
Yeah. What have you both learned in this journey over the last 18 months? Traveling the world, doing your YouTube channel, things that you didn't expect before you started.
Well, me personally, and it was actually a little upsetting to me. Because I always thought, and don't get me wrong, I'm the proudest Canadian you'll ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought Canada was the end all be all. But I just see we're being left behind by a lot of these in so many different areas. And, we've been to a lot of big cities as well. And, they call some of these places third world countries. You know what? And I feel sort of guilty even mentioning this. But, Canada, and from what I talk to, a lot of people in the U.S. are saying the same thing.
Yep.
We got to pick up our game because we're
in
falling
what ways?
behind.
Like in what ways are we talking?
Every aspect. Work ethic.
Yeah.
It's the infrastructure. We've got amazing infrastructure in both Canada and the U.S., but we're not maintaining it, and we're growing. And I just, you get into other cities in Southeast Asia, and the transportation systems. It's amazing how they move people around, and so
Mm-hmm.
You're surprised by that, Jill? For you,
I think for me, I would agree with that, but I also think on a deeper, more personal level, I feel like I've just spent a year basically deprogramming myself, and I've never felt more free than I do now.
Yep.
And, having a home is really great, but you're a little bit of a hostage to it because you always have to take care of it.
Sure.
And so right now we are just so free and we can go anywhere. And that flexibility gives you a lot of opportunity as well.
Yeah. I'm imagining you've met quite a number of people.
Yeah.
And do you keep in touch with these people you meet?
Yeah, a lot of them. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear a lot of stories.
Oh.
Yeah.
So any memorable stories that you can tell me?
Oh, boy.
Or maybe a memorable story of your own.
They're all memorable to us, and we like everything, like the YouTube channel, we're learning as we go,
right?
And traveling, we're learning as we go. We've made some mistakes with visas, and we're both pretty thorough usually, but we're learning as we go. But as far as all these people we meet with. I just try to think of one off the top of my head. You meet a lot of interesting people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People doing the same thing that you're doing.
And people our age as well. There's lots of people out there doing
right?
it. But we also love being around a lot of the young people too because...
Makes you younger.
Yeah. And you know what? There's just this really infectious energy that you feel from them. And it's like, come on, let's go on the motorcycle type of thing, right? And
a lot of the things we do.
Yeah,
we're the grandma and grandpa, all these young kids, and we did a 4-day boat trip from where were we? Lombok to Flores, and I think the average age was about 27, 28, and but we had the time of our life, and
Randy's playing cards with them, and then the boat's quite high, and then I'm jumping off the boat with all the young ones, and it was just great.
What about medical care? That's the one thing that our clients are talking about when they're coming here is like medical care. I'm coming from Canada. They have
We did a video on medical. We have a series called Goodbye Canada. And that was one of the topics that we talked about was the healthcare. we have never had better health care than what we do now. We have a medical insurance with Cigna, and we're covered worldwide. And as a Canadian, except for the United States.
Which is interesting in itself.
It is
Yeah.
very
It
interesting.
says a little bit about U.S. medical care.
Yeah.
It's very, very expensive.
But
Yeah.
we can go anywhere, and we have the best medical now. In Canada, the waits for, if you want to have a checkup, you pay for your checkup. If you want to have an MRI, you're going to wait maybe a year, 2 years.
For MRI.
Yeah, for an MRI. And with the healthcare that we have, it's preventative care versus reactionary.
Sure.
And so we were in Kuala Lumpur and we went to the hospital and we were just blown away because this is part of the package that we get.
Private hospital.
Yeah, it was a private hospital, and you walk up and it's like valet parking and it's just like so nice. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Are we going to a hotel or a hospital?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
it was first class. And during that visit, I had a pap test, a pelvic ultrasound, a bone density, a mammogram,
Stress test.
stress test, ECG. I met with a cardiologist for to go through the results. I met with a dietitian. I had an eye exam, a hearing exam.
Wow.
They did complete blood work. And we were there all day.
for the whole day. And to do that in Canada now
It would take us years.
would take you years, just waiting, all the wait lists and
Yeah.
what
Sure.
have you. They even threw lunch in with that.
Yeah.
And this is all covered in your insurance?
Yes.
Or,
Yeah, Cigna has a certain amount of coverage for preventative health care.
Sure.
And that's included. It's called the wellness program. And I guess the difference is if we get sick, Cigna's on the hook.
Right.
So if they can get an early diagnosis
It's better
on
for
a
them.
problem,
Yeah.
they're going to save a lot of money.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
They want you to do those kind
Yeah.
of tests.
Yeah.
What does something like that cost per year?
it's different for everyone, of
Your
course.
age and your
Yeah.
conditions.
Pre-existing conditions, what have you. But we are. Do you remember the number? We just had it on our video.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should check the video out. 'Cause
Goodbye, Canada?
Goodbye, Canada.
There's a series of four of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And but ballpark, I'm
I think it was,
8,000 US or something.
yeah.
Per person.
Both of us.
But both.
For both.
It's very
Yes.
affordable. I was shocked. I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cheap.
Yeah.
And they know you're traveling around the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if we also have Medivac too. So we did a jungle trek in Borneo. So if something happens to you there,
Helicopter in, out?
and yes,
Well,
in out.
and air ambulance. We feel really fortunate that we discovered them.
And that's another reason why for us leaving Canada, taxes, healthcare, and so on and so on. And now I feel like, we've really grabbed control of our lives.
This is amazing. So, a year and a half doing this. How much longer are you guys going to do this?
Well, that I guess depends on how long the health lasts.
Right. Yeah, it's so
But-
indefinite. There's
Yeah.
no real...
We're doing what we call slow travel now. Last year was kind of fast travel.
Yeah.
Egypt, Jordan. And now slow travel for us is staying in a place. We'll go to the UK in the summertime, and we're there almost 3 months.
Okay.
And we'll be in, one place here, one place there, one place there. And we're going to be in each place for a couple of weeks.
Right.
And you can really settle down and, just simple things of having your own laundry machine. And,
Sure.
It's really good.
The travel that we had been doing, you're on the go constantly, and it can
Wear
become
on you.
exhausting.
Yep.
So we said, what's the rush? And we really like the slow travel. Like here, we're here for 4 months in Cabo, and we knew Cabo already because this was our sort of go-to place. But these other places we're going to now, we don't know them. We'd like to find out what it's like to possibly live there, because we haven't decided if and when this
if there's a final destination.
Yeah.
And I think also with the YouTube channel is that when we go there, we're going to investigate what the healthcare is like, what it's like to actually live there.
Has anyone contacted you in areas inviting you to visit? I would think that over time you might run across people from time to time.
People writing in.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple from Ecuador that are Americans living in Ecuador, and they said, come on down to Ecuador, we'll show you around. And so there's only so much time though, so we kind of plan it. We're kind of booked right through till December right now.
So people, if you're watching or listening, get them early and invite them to Australia.
We are
Africa, New Zealand.
Well, you're too late in Australia because after we're finished in we're doing
Italy,
2 months in the UK, and then we're going to Italy, Spain, Portugal, and from there we've got 3 months booked in Australia, and we'd stay longer, but they only offer 90 days the visa.
That's right.
Yeah.
And for all you politicians out there, you're losing money because a lot of the countries we went to, they got very short, and it's a pain getting visas. And
that's one thing we love about Mexico is that you just feel really free here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're going to leave here in a few weeks, right? But you're going to come back.
To Cabo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we love Cabo.
What do you love about Cabo?
Oh, what's not to love? You
You golf.
Golf, yeah, and amazing beaches.
Yeah.
We love the expats down here, and actually expats all over the world, because we were just talking about the other day. People are social here, and at home everyone's too busy working, paying the bills, paying off the mortgage. People here, they have time to talk, and and people socialize, and and that being said, you meet lots of people, make some amazing friends, and it's
so you'll always have a home here, no matter where you travel, and if you ultimately decide someplace that you're going to be calling home, Cabo will always have a place for you.
Yeah, it's always a place in our heart for sure. And we might end up living here permanently, all the time, because we both love it.
Cool. Yeah. Well, when you reached out to me, finish your thought.
Yeah, can you? Oh, yeah, and as far as, we have a residency now.
Sure.
It, after talking with Claudia, every year it gets a little tougher. And we are recommending to all our viewers, no matter where they decide to go, get on this sooner than later. Yeah. And, it's because rules are constantly changing.
You guys, you reached out to me because you wanted to record some stuff, ask me questions. So we're going to turn the table. And,
okay.
Do you have your questions?
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first off, you've been involved in the real estate. Well, first, we'd like to introduce you, or you can introduce yourself to our viewers. And, Nick's been selling real estate for a lot of years here. Yep. He's started a great brokerage. And what it used to be called, you changed to Ronival.
Yeah, Los Cabos Agent. So my wife and I started the company in 2010. So it's been 14 years plus. And we started with the idea of me being the sales agent, her being the property manager. And 14 years ago, it was us in our house. It was one of the bedrooms because we just had one kid, our daughter. And the idea was that we would just operate out of our house. And real estate, a lot of times agents, they work from their house anyways. They're out meeting clients and showing properties. But as time went on, business grew. We started multiplying in terms of the number of agents, staff. And so we got 1 office, 2 offices. We're up to 10 offices. We have 70 staff, 100 plus agents, and we're statewide. And now we are emerging into other parts of Mexico.
Come a long way.
A little bit. Yeah.
And it was an interesting story, and I can't remember the details, but Ronival, that came from a combination of your kids and your wife.
Yeah. So It's an acronym. So RO is Rocio, my wife, partner, Rocco, our son, and NI is Nick, and Val is short for Valentina. And although our daughter's name is Sienna, her middle name is Valentina, and so that's what comprises the name Ronival.
Interesting. So, yeah, you've been at it a long time. You've seen a lot of changes in Cabo.
A lot.
14. What year was it you first came down here?
2001, so
Okay.
23 years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
So, lots of changes.
Yeah, a lot of changes. And like most people, started on a vacation. The second night I met Rocio at the nightclub, and we did the long distance thing. It was December of 2004 that I moved here. And we already had a house together, and I didn't get into real estate right away. I was doing real estate already in Chicago and real estate mortgages. And so during that time of the economy, it was really good. But as things started slowing down with the Great Recession looming, I got out of that business and I got into business here, selling real estate. And thankfully, I did. I mean, we suffered too here during the Great Recession, but I weathered that storm and came out to where we are today.
Perfect. So, as we said earlier, lots of changes. What are some of the positive and what are some of the not so positive changes you'd see with Cabo?
I mean, some of the positives that our clients and myself constantly say is there are international direct flights daily, like dozens. And so for someone like myself that lives here, if I want to go somewhere else on vacation or for business, it's easy for me to get to places, right? That's number one. Number two, a lot of foreign investment. So with the resorts and with the housing, it has improved a lot of the infrastructure, but that also is one of the negatives, is the infrastructure hasn't grown necessarily in certain areas of Cabo at the same rate. So the streets, electricity, sewage, things like that. So that's been water and the food. So the demand for good food, different types, it's top notch. Yeah. So alternatively, prices have gone up quite a bit. And so you can spend just as much, if not more, than your hometown. Yeah. And that surprises a lot of people, and the hotels included. But like anywhere you could go to the most expensive place, you're going to go to London, right? One of the most expensive places in the world, New York City. But there's always places where if you know where to go, it's not expensive. Yeah. And so same here.
It's funny, we were just doing some writing for voiceover on our next video, and we were just discussing it. And what was the phrase we had there? Yeah, we mentioned in the upcoming video that prices have gone up, as you say, and but the locals, they always know where to go for the right prices.
Follow the locals.
Yeah. So you become a local. Yeah. Become a local yourself. Right. You'll know where to go. Right. And leave the touristy areas. Yeah. Overpriced areas for the tourists. Yeah. Yeah. You know? So,
You know, another good thing, real estate prices, our clients have got in early. They've experienced huge appreciation. But people coming into the market, it's like, ooh, those prices are high. And so that has fueled a huge growth trend in the coastlines of the peninsula. So Sea of Cortez or the Pacific side. So those areas have benefited. If you ask the locals in those areas, they'll be like, oh, too much traffic, too many people. And so, with everything, change, there's good and bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely, like you say, definitely growing. And so what are, you figure, some of the up and coming areas? If you were starting all over again, knowing what you know now, where would you be going to?
In today's market?
Yeah, like different areas up and down the Baja here.
Yeah, so I would be looking, figure Los Cabos is the heart, right? All the tourism, all the vacations originate there. All the real estate demand originates there. And then it goes up both coastlines going north. right? So along the Pacific, we've already, Todos Santos and Cerritos is very developed. Still a lot of ways to go, but prices have gone up pretty substantially. But in between those two towns, Cabo San Lucas and Todos Santos, there's a lot of undeveloped beachfront land. No services, but that's an opportunity that's close to the airport, to Cabo San Lucas. It's in between. Also, La Paz. It's the capital of our state, and it has an international airport. It's only 2 hours from Cabo. It has a lot of potential for growth, and there's a lot of demand. A lot of ecotourism there. Interestingly, more Europeans and Asians travel there because of the whale sharks and all the ecotourism. And then when you go just 3 hours north of there, Loreto, also beautiful, another international airport. And then on the Sea of Cortez side, also on the Sea of Cortez side, because La Paz and Loreto are on the Sea of Cortez side, but further south, closer to Los Cabos, is the East Cape. And so there are parts of the East Cape that are super expensive, like Costa Palmas, where the Four Seasons.
We were up there. We were up there a couple of weeks ago.
Pretty incredible.
Beautiful golf course there.
Yeah. And I mean, prices are as expensive as Cabo, ultra luxury, but there are pockets in that area. So you can still be very close to all that, be on the water or close to the water. And there's a new area that we are calling the Paradise Coast, and that's just north of Los Barriles. So it's a few miles of coastline, and you can get prices of yesteryear there. So you can get beachfront land for under $200,000, for example. So that's unheard of here. So those are some of the areas that I would be looking at today.
Yeah. Okay. As you know, we're divers, and a lot of our viewers are divers. And Cabo Pulmo, I've dove there several times, and I just love it there. It's spectacular. Very, very quiet. I don't even think they have Wi-Fi up there.
If you have Starlink, yes. Right? But yeah, that's the charm, right? When you exit the paved road and you have to drive another 30 minutes or so, depending on what vehicle you're driving on dirt roads. I just heard a phrase which is incredible: is bad roads, good people. And it's true. Or bad roads, good places. And so Cabo Pulmo is one of those places.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question is, if somebody was new coming down to Cabo and they get here, they're like, wow, this is amazing. I think I want to live here. What would you recommend? Because you also have a rental side, I think.
Yeah, well, we do vacation rentals.
Okay.
We used to do long-term rentals, but it's very unregulated, the long terms, and it's a big part of our market, the long term. And I would certainly recommend renting before owning. And so renting might not be for a whole year. It may not even be for 6 months. It might just be going 1 or 2 months at a time and staying in different places.
Yeah, try out the different areas.
Exactly. And so sometimes I would say the majority of our clients don't do that.
Yeah.
It definitely helps if they do that. But a lot of our clients have been coming for 20 years.
Yeah.
So they know.
So they know, and they, like yourselves, they know the locals. So there's all kinds of things like Facebook forums and chats that they learn by doing the research, so that they don't necessarily need to live there for 1 year or 2 years. But it certainly doesn't hurt to do so. The only thing is, if the way the real estate market is, and although this market is probably a little bit safer to do that as a renter, but the last 4 years haven't been, when you rent, the prices have gone up 50%. So then you maybe price yourself out of the market. So that's the only thing to maybe be concerned of a little bit, but I don't see prices going up by 50% in the next few years.
Yeah, well, we've had massive, appreciation in real estate actually all over the world.
That's right.
And that's another thing we've discovered. I thought it was maybe, just North America, but it's
worldwide.
Everywhere. It's
It
everywhere.
certainly is.
And the $1 million question, what do you see down the road with real estate pricing, especially here?
I think I have a unique sense of this compared to most real estate professionals here because I have been here for 20 years. Yeah. And so I saw it when it was at the first kind of boom and then a huge recession and then it going back up. And so I've seen it through a couple cycles.
Yeah.
And what I see, because our real estate market in the last year has simmered down quite a bit. This year already is down by 35% by the same period last year.
Sales?
Sales.
Yeah, not prices.
Not prices. So prices haven't gone down. They've gone up. Yeah. They've gone up by around 18% overall compared to last year. But the number of transactions has gone down, which is to be expected. Double election year in Mexico and in the U.S. And our real estate market tracks very closely what the U.S. real estate market does. And the U.S. real estate market has slowed down due to U.S. mortgage interest rates. And so I believe in 2025, things are going to, more buyers are going to come into the market. So what does that mean for us? Long-term steady growth. Because we have the fundamentals here, great weather. We have the air flights in and out. Medical care is good here. Restaurants, the people. And so those are the ingredients that make it a long, sustainable destination, not without its problems, right? And so the infrastructure, we really need to get a handle on that. And I'm optimistic that we will.
Yeah. Is there... you mentioned the sewer, and we're staying in. Usually, we've stayed out at Cobella, out on the Pacific. Yeah, beautiful out there, and you're almost sort of removed. It's a very large area. But this year we're in San Jose. We wanted to try it out that side, and that sewage thing is a real problem there. That sewage treatment center, and depending which way the wind's blowing, it can be nasty. And is there any talk about doing something with that? I've heard lots of rumors.
Unfortunately, I haven't been in any meetings with that specific topic. I hear everything that everyone else does in the newspapers or online, and so I can't really speak intelligently to that. What I would say is it is a Mexican election year, and it's a politically and financially driven effort, and so there's enough real estate and private interest to make that right, that I'm optimistic that it will be resolved. But it's been like that for more than a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's well, last month, about 6 weeks ago, and I don't know why, because it wasn't raining, but it's all gushing out of the manhole covers on the street, and there's sewage running down. Los Caros Fish House there? Yeah. And it's running right down the road, and the cars are driving through it, and...
not good.
Yeah.
The smell was probably...
And, the entrance to Puerto Los Cabos.
That's right. Which is multi-million-dollar homes and resorts.
Yeah. And, I just...
Well, and that's the reality, is that we have those kind of things happening, even in a destination like Los Cabos. And it's important that people know that it's not perfect. And you do have those things. But net, it's my place to live, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's definitely a good life here.
Yeah, no. And I'm excited to hear and see online your adventures as the months and years go.
Yeah, well, the maybe we'll start a little contest, and people can guess where do they end up buying.
There you go. Comment down below.
Is it Los Cabos, Europe? Right now we really don't have a clue.
That's good, right? Yeah. Keep your options open.
Yeah.
Don't get locked down.
And I can see why, with Cabo too, a lot of the questions that we had was, what about your kids and what about grandkids? We don't have grandkids, but we have kids. Yeah. And, the one thing that I love about Cabo is that it's still so close to Canada and so close to the States, I guess, is that we just send the kids a plane ticket.
And they'll come.
And they'll come. And yet we used to live about 5 blocks from them. And it was pulling teeth to get
Sure.
to see them. Do you want to do this? No, we're busy. But do you want to come down to Cabo? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That is quality time. We spent
Yeah.
quality time with them
That's
there.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for our viewers, Nick,
Yep.
that who don't know Cabos as well as a lot of your clients do, can they contact you as far as possibly lining up a 6-month, 1-year rental?
So we personally don't broker those deals, but they can certainly contact us, and we can put them in touch with a rental agent that could help them. Yeah. And if it's anything less than a 6-month stay, our vacation rental division, there's a lot of owners that will rent for multiple months consecutive. So Ronival.com, real easy.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's it.
So we killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. It's good, too, because most of our equipment's in Victoria.
There you go. All right. Well, everyone, if you are interested in getting a hold of these 2, what's the channel again?
Travel and explore now.
Travel and Explore Now. What was the Leaving Canada or?
There's a series called Goodbye Canada.
Goodbye Canada is a
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
The YouTube channel.
And take note, it's not A-N-D and, it's the symbol and.
Oh, the symbol.
Travel and the symbol.
Okay, perfect.
Explore now. And all the areas we've talked about, these amazing, beautiful destinations. We have videos on most of them as well. So check them all out.
All right. Follow them, subscribe, and see where their next journey goes. And until then, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate. And follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.